You're listening to Spring River Chronicle. Audio on the go.
First National Banking Company. Get checking that pays with Super Plus Checking at FNBC.
From Culverts to Cash. Story by staff writer Lauren Siebert. The Sharp County Road Department has found a way to save taxpayers' money, allowing the funds to be used in other areas for the improvement of Sharp County. Key members of the Sharp County Road Department have successfully created a way to maximize efficiency and double productivity, saving the county and taxpayers money by cutting the cost of certain aspects of road construction in half. The savings will come to fruition through the use of metal forms that will allow for the creation of the box culverts. These culverts will be used for new and current projects as well as replacing failing metal and plastic culverts already in place. According to Sharp County Road Superintendent Dan Melbourne, the idea came after working with Federal Emergency Management Agency during the summer of 2011. We had set some larger box culverts through a FEMA project last summer, said Melbourne. After the FEMA projects were complete, Melbourne looked into what it would take for the county to create their own. I decided that we could save some money and put these box culverts in the ground, said Melbourne. Then we would no longer have to put in plastic pipe or corrugated metal pipe and these box culverts would be there forever. According to one of the engineers for the project, road hand, Travis Price, 3 large metal forms were made so the culverts could be poured. We have built them from scratch and they have a male and female end so they can be pieced together, said Price. They fit in a trench and you can build a bridge over the top of them. Each culvert weighs approximately 6,100 pounds, or 3 tons, and takes about 32 to 36 hours to dry, meaning the road department is able to make 6 box culverts per work week. The forms for the culverts were engineered in such a way so that if the department needed to make a larger culvert, they would be able to, because the forms are expandable. On all 4 sides, there is a joint on both the inside and outside form, said Melbourne. If we wanted to make it a foot wider, we could add a 1-foot panel and make it 5 feet, or if we wanted to make it 6 feet, we could put a 2-foot panel in it. Unlike a metal or plastic culvert, which has a life expectancy of 50 years or less, the concrete box culverts are proven to last beyond 100 years. There are concrete tiles or culverts that have been put in the ground over 100 years ago, and are still being used today, said Melbourne. Along with lasting twice as long as a metal or plastic tile, also known as a culvert, the box culverts are able to let water flow through more easily than other types of culverts. A round tile will only carry 3/4 of the amount of water that is going in the upper side, because it will create a vortex. So, if you had a 24-inch tile, you would only get about 18 inches of water flow on the bottom side, said Melbourne. With the way the box culverts are shaped rectangle, it makes them so they are able to carry whatever is coming through on the upstream side, down through to the downstream side. If it's 24 inches, then 24 inches of water will flow. The culverts we have made at this time are 3 feet tall and 4 feet wide. According to Melbourne, the cost of buying a concrete box culvert is about $117 per foot, but by the county manufacturing them the cost is only $58 a foot, saving the county more than half the money it was spending. We know that manufacturing them is cheaper than buying them, said Melbourne. When I did a cost comparison between metal culverts that have a black coating called polyurethane, which would be a 50-year pipe, I found it would still run more per foot than one of these concrete box culverts that are proven to last beyond 100 years. Another positive aspect to manufacturing the culverts is that if another washout occurred from flooding, the county would be able to repair the road quickly. If we had something that was a critical area and we had to get someone in and out in a critical amount of time, we could go out there and set 5 of those box culverts in a trench and traffic can drive over the top of them, said Melbourne. By the time we came in the yard, loaded up and placed them, it would be roughly 8 hours and we could have the road back open. It is possible to do that with a regular culvert, but we would have to bring in so much material to build the ground up and get them across, said Melbourne. The box culverts are just more efficient. We just set them in the hole, backfill it, and traffic can move across. We are able to just use the materials that are already there. The culverts will also be used to repair roads built in the late 20th century that aren't wide enough or are no longer structurally stable. We're going to be able to build a lot of places where there are low water slabs and things like that. These things box culverts will take their place, said Melbourne. In the early part of the 20th century concrete box culverts were used, but were manufactured without a bottom piece. One of the biggest things we had going on in this county is back in the 30s, 40s and 50s is that they used a lot of box culvert type structures that didn't have a bottom in them, so now they are collapsing and aren't wide enough for the traffic on the road, said Melbourne. One of our first ventures is to replace quite a few of them.
Thanks for listening to Spring River Chronicle Audio on the Go. Be sure to subscribe to the paper and check us out online at myspringriver.com.